Okay, we are live. All right, so we're starting on 7.3 here today. Now, yesterday we talked about similar shapes, and we talked about how you had to know all the proportions of all the sides, and all the ratios, and they all had to be the same to prove that those sides were proportional, to prove that the shapes were similar. Well, with triangles, we don't have to know all of them. We can. And if you know that all three sets of sides are proportional, meaning that all the ratios come out to be the same, then you know that those shapes are similar. And that's called side triangle similarity. Okay? But you don't have to know that. One thing that you could know is if you know two of the angles are the same in those two triangles, you know the third one has to be the same because of that third triangle congruence theorem, right? Or third angle theorem. So if you know two angles in the two triangles are the same, you know those triangles are similar. If you know one angle is the same in the two triangles, and then you know that the two sides that make that angle are proportional, so you know that the triangle or the angles are congruent, and the two sides are proportional, then that tells you that those triangles are also similar. Okay? So these three things are three different ways that you can prove two triangles are similar. All right? So now, if we go to our sheet, right? Look at number 1. So on number 1, it shows that this angle is congruent to this angle. So we know that we have one angle congruent to one angle. Then, notice they didn't give us any numbers on this, but they did tell us that this and this are the same, and this are the same. That means if we set up a ratio of this side to this side, and a ratio of this side to this side, they're going to be the same because those numbers are the same. So if those ratios are the same, that means it's proportional. So we know, based on this, that a side, this side to this side, is proportional. An angle is proportional, and then a side is proportional. Side, angle, side. Y'all see how that works? Does that make sense to everybody? So based on that information, we know these two triangles are similar. And if we were going to write a triangle similarity statement, we would say triangle, like TSR, is similar to triangle, and then we match up the angles. So if we're doing T, we would do W, then S would go with S, and then X would go with R, right? Y'all with me? Okay, if we look at number 2, what information did they give you there? What information do you have on number 2? Yeah, of what? Just sides, right? We don't have any angles here. That tells us right off the bat that if we're going to prove these two triangles are similar, we will have to use side. That means we'll have to set up ratios for each set of sides to see if those ratios are the same. If they are the same, then they are similar. But we have to check each side because that's all we have is side information. How do you know which side compares to which side when we don't have any angles? How do you know which one to compare? Right. So you base it on what's the shortest side in this triangle and what's the shortest side in that triangle. What's the next shortest? What's the next shortest, right? So the shortest in this triangle is 8 and the shortest in this triangle is 6, right? So we compare 8 to 6 and make a ratio out of that. Now, if we simplify that, what goes into both 8 and into 6? 2. So 2 goes into 8 4 times, 2 goes into 6 3 times, so that simplifies to 4 over 3, right? Then we're going to compare the other side. So we take the next size here, which by the way, since these are the same numbers, we only have to do this one time. There's no point in doing it 2 times. We're going to get the same answer, right? So we have 12 and we have 9, right? But we're going to simplify it and see if it simplifies to be 4/3. What goes into 12 and what goes into 9? 3. How many times does it go into 12? How many times does it go into 9? So did we get the same thing? And then, of course, if we did that other 12 and 9, we're also going to get 4/3. So because our 3 sides, our 3 sets of sides are proportional, then these 2 triangles are similar based on side, side, side similarity, right? Now, when you do the practice side on the interactive worksheet, what you're going to be doing is it's going to say like yes, and it's going to say like no, right? And you're going to select yes, they're similar, no, they're not. And then there's going to be a box that has side, 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 angle, side, and then angle, angle. And then it's going to have like NA. If you say yes, you have to pick one of these 3. Which one did you use? Okay. If you say no, you're going to say NA. Does anybody know what NA stands for? Close. It's not applicable. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Applicable means it doesn't apply. Not applicable means it doesn't apply to this. Okay? Okay, look at number 3. Based on the information we have here, which theorem might we be using? Side, angle, side. We know the angles are congruent, right? We know that angle S is congruent to angle J. We know that because it says they're both 70, right? So then we're going to fix up our proportions for the side. So we're going to go the short side on this one to the short side on that one. So 10/15, right? Then we'll do the long side on this one to the long side on that one, 14/21. Right? And now we just simplify and see if we get the same numbers. What goes into 10 that also goes into 15? 5. How many times on top? How many times on bottom? Okay, what about this one? What goes into 14 that also goes into 21? 7. How many times on top? How many times on bottom? So, did we get the same thing? Yes. So, are these triangles similar? Yes. What theorem did we use to prove it? SAS. Side, angle, side. So, everybody see how that works? Okay. Look at number 4. What information did they give you? They gave you 2 angles. So, we're going to be using angle, angle. And I know some of you right now are saying, oh, well, they're not because that one's 60 and that one's 30. But if this one's 60, what's that one? It has to be 30 because 180 minus 90 leaves 90. 90 minus 60 is 30. Are these 2 triangles similar? Yes. Based on what? Angle, angle. Right? Because we have 2 90-degree angles, so angle S is congruent to angle R, right? And then angle Q is congruent to angle M. And we know that the third angle has to be congruent if you have 2 congruent angles, right? Okay, y'all see how simple this is? Like, it's pretty simple, right? Okay, now, down here we're going to have to solve some stuff. I need to sharpen my pencil real quick, though. Hang on. My pencil's got down. You know where the wood is touching the paper when you're trying to write? I don't like pencils that sharpen with one side the wood stays on there. That drives me crazy. Yeah, you're hitting the wood already. Okay, so on this, notice we have this angle is congruent to this angle right here, right? So we know that those angles are congruent. And then this angle here is congruent to this angle, which tells us these two triangles are similar, which, by the way, all of these are going to be similar because we know they're going to be because we're solving it, right? But it doesn't hurt for us to go ahead and look at which angles and which sides. Since this angle is congruent to this angle and this angle is congruent to this angle, then that means this is the sides that are going together, 15 and 12, right? It doesn't matter which one we put on top and which one we put on bottom. Doesn't make any difference. But whichever one you put on top, on one side, you go from the same triangle on the other side, right? So if we do 15 over 12, like so, right? Then on the other side, we have to go from the same triangle that 15 came out of. So what goes on top over here? X plus 5. And what goes on bottom? X plus 1. Now, we can cross multiply right here, or we can simplify 15 over 12 first and make our math easier. Simplifying will make your numbers smaller, and you may not need that calculator you're hanging on to. Okay? What goes into 15 that also goes into 12? How many times in 15? How many times into 12? Okay? So that makes our number smaller, and we don't have such big numbers to multiply. So we're going to do 4 times x plus 5. So it's going to be 4x plus 20, because we do 4 times 5, right? And then we're going to do 5 times x plus 1. So 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 1 is 5, right? So now we have just a basic little equation to solve. What would you move? What would you move? Subtract 4x. Okay.
And then subtract 5.
And then subtract this 5. So what that does is it gets rid of the x's on this side and it gets rid of the numbers on that side. Right? And we have x on this side, 15 on that side. Is that my answer? No, it's not, is it? Why is it not the answer? Yeah, they're asking for what AC is. So now we've got to go back to the problem and be like, all right, so AC is x plus 1. X was 15. So what's my answer? 16. So my answer is 16, not 15. Make sure you're answering what's actually asked, okay? Okay, so we look at this one. Notice how we've got these parallel lines here? Well, these parallel lines, we know if that's a transversal, then this angle is going to be congruent to this angle, right? We know that these are vertical angles, so they're going to be congruent. So we know the triangles are congruent based on angle, right? We also know that this angle here is going to be congruent to this angle here because of that transversal thing. Now, they only gave us some very basic information. We know we're going to line up the 14 and the 16. And it doesn't matter which way we go. Do y'all want 16 on top or 16 on bottom? Top? So we're going to do 16 over 4, right? That means on this other side, what has to go on top? The x plus 18, right? You have to put the one that's from the same triangle over there. If you don't set it up to where you're doing, this is big triangle, little triangle, over here has to be big triangle, little triangle also. If you don't, you're messing up. What's going to go on bottom? X minus 3. Now, let's go ahead and simplify this to make our numbers smaller. So what goes into 16 and into 4? 4. How many times does 4 go into 16? How many times does 4 go into 4? So that gets us down to 4 over 1, right? Okay, so then we're going to multiply 1 times x plus 18. That's going to be x plus 18. And then 4 times x minus 3. So 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. Does everybody see where we're at? Anybody got a question so far? Okay, what would you do to solve? Subtract x. Okay, that gets rid of my x's. What else can I do? Oh, I got to do that. Yep. Sorry. Thank you, Jonathan. I also can, right now, add 12. That gets rid of my 12s, but then I have to do it over here too, right? So that gets me 3x equals 30. So divide by 3, what is x? 10. Is that my answer? No. What's my answer? 28. So my answer is 28. No units, because they didn't give us any units in this problem. Okay, so far so good? Alright, let's look at number 7. Okay, do y'all see 2 triangles in number 7? Does everybody see 2? So there's this little one, just in case. There's this little triangle, and then the big triangle. Right? And we know we're going to be comparing 6 and 12, because that's the bases of both triangles. Right? So do y'all want to put 12 on top or 6 on top? 6. So we're going to do 6 over 12. And that's going to equal, so we have, this time we're doing little over big. See how it doesn't matter which one we do? We just got to keep it consistent. So over here, what's going to go on top? X plus 5. And then what's going to go on bottom? It is not 9. Yeah, so here's the deal. They didn't tell us what this side was. They told us this piece. They told us this piece. We have to add those together. So we have to add x plus 5 plus 9 to get this long side, which is going to be x plus 14. Y'all see? So you got to pay attention to little things like that, or you'll set it up all right, but then get the wrong answer because you didn't pay attention to the fact that that wasn't the whole side. Now, can we simplify the 6 and 12? What goes into both? How many times into 6? How many times into 12? So 1 over 2, right? So that's going to get us 1 times x plus 14, x plus 14. 2 times x plus 5. So that's going to be 2x plus 10, right? What would you move? Move that x? What else would you move? So that gets rid of my x's over here, and it gets rid of my 10's over there, right? 14 minus 10. 2x minus x. So x is 4. What are they asking for? They're asking for EH. We don't know EH.
It's x plus 5.
How do you know that?
Because the x plus 5 and the 9.
Yep, because it's the same, right? Because it's the same. So 4 plus 5 gives me 9. So this is 9 and that's 9. Okay, got one more we're going to do. We've got this one. So what do y'all want to put on top? 14 on top? That means we're doing big on top, little on bottom. So over here we have to do big on top, little on bottom. Right? So what's going to go on bottom over here? X plus 2. What's going to go on top? You got to add them again. See how they didn't give us both of it, the whole thing this time? They just gave us the pieces, so we have to add them again. We have to do 3x minus 3 plus x plus 2. So that's going to be 4x. And then what's negative 3 and plus 2?
1.
Minus 1. Okay. So let's simplify that 14 over 6. How do we simplify that? What goes into both? 2 goes into both. So what would be on top? 7. What would be on bottom? 3. Okay. So now we're just going to cross multiply, right? So we're going to have 3 times 4x, which is 12x, and 3 times negative 3, which is negative 3. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Juliana? And then we're going to have 7 times x plus 2. So 7 times x is 7x. And 7 times 2 is 14. Right? Now what? I wonder if they know she doesn't speak English. Did they have a translator? Okay. I didn't see a translator, so. Okay. So what are y'all moving?
7x.
Moving the 7x. Okay. And add the 3. So you wind up with 5x equals 17, right? So when you divide by 5, you know you're not getting a whole number. What's it going to be? 3.4. Is that my answer? No, because what did they ask for? VT. So what is my answer? 5.4. Because we do 3.4 plus 2. So it's going to be 5.4. Now I know some of you right now are thinking, oh, we messed up because we got a decimal. Y'all, answers can be decimals. That was very basic math. We didn't mess up anywhere. It just is a decimal. Okay? Sometimes answers can be decimals. And our textbook information, they're really bad to throw one decimal answer on the whole page. And that really makes you think you messed up. Because if you're getting decimals randomly, then you don't think that much about it. But if you just get one out of the whole page and everything else is a nice, pretty whole number, then you think, uh-oh, I did something wrong. Right? But you didn't. It really is 5.4. Okay, so your assignment is going to be the practice side. There is not an interactive worksheet yet. Actually, there is one, but I messed up on it and I have to fix it. You do not have to do number 7 today. We're going to mark that one off. So you're just going to be doing 1 through 6. And you're not going to put your interactive answers in until tomorrow because I've got to go back and fix that worksheet because I messed it up. Have you finished it? Did you take a picture of it and post it on Google Classroom? You gotta do that. Once you've done that, I don't care what you do with it. But you have to take a picture of 7.2 and post it on Google Classroom. Okay? Kamina, we need you to join our Google Classroom. Do you have a Chromebook yet? Okay. Get your Chromebook out. I'll get the code for you. What is it? AIT? JJB? V as in Victor? Well, that eraser is crap. Okay, V. And 3. So AITJJV3. Okay. I put it all in uppercase. I don't think it makes any difference. I mean, it might. I don't know. Alright, Shirley. Here is our Google Classroom.
So it's basically the same thing.
Which made me
They're not equal, but they're similar.
What do you?
I'm fine.
What do you? What are they?
This is 0.1.
Maybe number 6, right?
So,
Where's the number 6, right?
I don't know.
it's 220.
This is number 6.
There's people second
I don't want to be I gotta present and that's present. I'm just straight up looking up the screen.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I know, but I'm just looking at the screen. Give me a nickel, bro. Of course, when I hit 430, I can't tell the way. I can't tell the way. I just look at it. I don't even know if I do it.
I still have days in
Yeah, what? I think Thursday. Supposedly snippets.
Oh, they moved it. These don't have.
What do you say?
They don't have all of them.
Is that like half a beef or something?
It's equal to
You guys are really good at
six.
You guys like that on the TV? Oh, yeah, they do. You got a pump plate? I got a pump plate. I don't know if it's used. It's like that morning pump plate. Is it crushed? No clue.
I am hungry, bro. I want to cook it.
Yeah, well, grains are good too.
You need it.
I'm good. You got enough cool? Yeah, I got enough. What's in your bed? What? Now, what matters? Well, I got 3 different times now. I got 3 cinnamon oil. 3. I always eat that away.
Oh, I thought you were looking at it.
Crazy with the boys on the street.
Did you do the scan? You can scan it and it just takes a picture of the document. And open your and then scan. And now just look at it. And see how the blue lines are in the paper. Ready? You have a good part of blue lines around it.
You didn't pay me back.
I did.
Yesterday?
What?
What about yesterday?
Are you charging me?
Yeah.
About
And it
that.
just gets your document.
Yeah, I gave him the free one.
God bless you.
I gave him the
God
free one.
bless you. God bless you. That's in the past. God bless you, man.
You watch your mouth go hit me, goes from the back.
I don't know. She don't know. I'm not allowed to read. There's something.
He's in it.
Oh, you get it.
I turned it in. I can do this.
It's not that hard.
It was water? What do you think? Was that a 1?
Oh yeah.
The jumping weights.
That was. I don't know what it is. I hope that. If he's just. Alright. I mean, there's like some days you miss so much.
Whenever I want, it would actually be
No, I switched work
like
my parents keep denying me the pants. They don't go down and go like that. I said, and these pants, that's the problem I stayed up. They just did it. Your parents.
Okay, go back. Oh, you know what? Show.
It did. That would hurt really bad.
a lot of metal things with it.
Oh. Was he wearing shorts? That's why I was young. I saw it, but I saw everything. I saw his cheeks. All four cheeks. All four cheeks. They were dying. I seen his neck. Eighth grade.
Alright, you guys, see you tomorrow. Have a good day.
I don't know why. What should I trust them on? Gay. What should I reckon? Hey, is that what you
Alright, guys, got to go.
That's perfect.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very well deserved. I'll tell you, every year when we have to, vote, we used to feature so many wonderful people and we want to vote for so many.
Everybody, yes.
But you are very deserving and I'm happy for you.
Thank you very much. If you can sit here if you would like. Okay. Yeah, like every day. He's downstairs. It was a breakfast pleasure.
You look at me. That's like the fourth time you look at me the same way.
Okay, let me try to get back.
That's what-
Not that I don't like it, just curly. It's just like different.
It's bright in here.
It's kind of brighter, huh?
Can I turn down?
I need to check this. I'll turn
What are we doing?
They serve you. It's not. Girl, I told you you would. She pulled into the house last night. Look, hold on that shit. Everyone knows they do. Okay, but that's not bad. I haven't drove it yet, but I hate Girl. Don't even turn around. I'm not asking you. What page are we on?
These I'm getting right out of page 184. So we're just going to look at absolute value today. It should be super easy because I think most of you know absolute value, but sometimes we do crazy things when it comes to taking the test and doing operations, okay? So this first question, and keep in mind, if you do have a calculator, if you cannot get absolute value down, there is an absolute value button in your calculator that you are welcome to use because the ACT, you don't have to show work, okay? So this right here, it says we're going to do the absolute value of -4 plus 3 minus the absolute value of 7 minus 10, and then take the absolute value of that. So what should our final answer be? What kind of a number? At the very end, it should be positive. Okay? So here's something I've seen a lot of people do. Please don't do it. When you're doing absolute value, do not take the absolute value of -4 plus 3, okay? Like you do what's inside, then take the absolute value of it, okay? So what is -4 plus 3? So this is what we're taking the absolute value of, which is 1. Okay, minus, what's 7 minus 10?
-3.
And what's the absolute value of -3?
3.
And now we're going to do what's inside there and take the absolute value and be done. So what's 1 minus 3? And the absolute value of that is 2. So that should be our answer. Okay, now if you want to know the calculator trick, let me see if I can find it on here. Okay, if you hit your math button, which is the third button on the left, if you hit your math button, and you go over, so use your arrow button to go over to num for numbers, it is the very first thing, ABS, okay? And so you would have to use a lot of absolute value bars for this guy, but you could do it every time, okay? So you have absolute value bars, and then you would insert another set of absolute value bars, okay? But you can check it and make sure that we, in fact, did it correctly, which I know you guys are geniuses, so you did it right. So make sure, regardless if you do it by hand or you do it with a calculator, that you do get 2. So we feel okay with that? Nothing tricky? Tessie, you good with that? No? Okay, let's try another one. Let's try let's do B, I guess. Okay, so that looks silly. Don't use that multiplication time again. But someone tell me how you would do this one. Yeah, so you multiply the top. So do the top. What's -7 times 4? And you notice I'm keeping the negative signs. I'm not getting rid of them yet. 6 times 2?
12.
Okay, now the only trick here is always reduce. If you ever see a fraction that is not reduced, please, please, please reduce. Okay? What does 28 over 12 reduce to?
7 over 3.
7 over 3. And if I take the absolute value of it, it is positive. y'all feel okay with that? Nothing too tricky. Okay, we're gonna jump to E because I think you've got this. Now I think you do. Okay, so E. But remember, if you don't have it, please let me know. Okay, so there's our expression. We've got a lot of letters, X and Y, but it tells us X is -3. And Y is 4. Okay? And anytime you see the word evaluate, don't be scared of that word evaluate. All that means is just plug in and get an answer. Okay? So evaluate, just plug in those numbers, do some fun math, and then we're going to get an answer that comes out. Okay? So we're going to come over here and we're going to do -3 times 4. And what's -3 times 4? Perfect. And then -12 plus 5. -7. And now you're going to take the absolute value of it, which is 7. Okay? And now we have 4 divided by 2, which is 2 minus 1. And 7 minus 1 is 6. If I went too fast, tell me. I'll go back over it. I have to write it down. Everybody okay with that? Now, just because you have the absolute value in a problem does not mean you can't have a negative answer. Okay? Like if it works out, let me give you this one last example, and this is not your book, I'm just gonna make up something random. Here, let's change that to a 6 since I've got all kinds of crazy stuff. Let's say X is -2. Okay, so try that problem. Can you get a positive or negative answer? Perfect. Everybody else get a negative answer? Okay? And that's okay, as long as you're performing these operations correctly. Okay, so you're going to plug in the -2 right there for your X. So you have, so right here is where somebody could mess up. Make sure you take the absolute value of -5, which is a +5. So you have -10 minus 6, which is a -16. Everyone okay with that? Now keep in mind, you can use the calculator. If you use the calculator, you don't have to show all of that stuff. If it's an ACT problem, maybe using a calculator would be faster. Okay, as long as you know where it is. So practice figuring out where it is if you think it's faster for you. Okay? So what I want you guys to do is try on page 185, do numbers 1 through 5. Okay, so just 5 questions. It shouldn't take you more than 7 minutes. Okay, so 7 minutes, and then we'll go over it, and we'll say that we've aced absolute value, hopefully. What page? You don't have to show your work if you want to just, I mean, as long as you can get the right answer. Okay, page 185. And let me know if you want me to come over and help you.
How do you sizzling and baby sauces feel you like about the thing?
Credit cards in her. I'll just put a credit card and put it in your name, and then I'll just use it for thousands of dollars a month. I would never do that. I'm just setting you to make sure that you're not doing anything. So you can. What's the letter? No, not D. No, we're good. It's a D. Gotcha. That is usually the buttons. I was in class time, so sometimes I do it out, but you say tomorrow? Yeah, I don't know what she's gonna do tomorrow, but you can pick your phone if I don't know.
Because I'm a Friday college.
We're starting to do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so you won't have tomorrow, and I'll have to be there after this. Well, if you ever need it, just remember Tuesdays and Thursdays, I can do with you. Mondays and Wednesdays. But yes, drop in tomorrow and see if I'm in.
So what do you think of this walk us through before it's right through all the way I had a set.
Okay, let's just check these, see if y'all have them right. And then I'm going to show you one thing, not math. Okay. One is B as in boy, 2 F, 3 D as in dog, 4 F, and 5 D as in dog. You feel good? Okay, I'm going to show you one thing that I think would be helpful for you. Actually, I don't know if I can show you this one thing. Okay. Maybe I can't show you. Well, I was going to try to show you. Let me see if I can get this to project over there. Maybe. Oh, I can't. Okay. Here's something that I think is very important for you guys. To start looking at what classes you need to take for college. Okay. If you want to get a head start. If you don't care about getting a head start and you just want to go to college and take whatever they tell you to take, do it. Okay. But if you want to get a head start, somebody tell me what you want to go into and where you want to do it. Okay. What you think you might like to go into and where you might want to do it. Max, tell me what you want to do. Well, tell me something you think you might want to do, or something you think your parents might make you do. Well, tell me something. An accountant. So you want to do business. An accountant, you're going to have a business degree. Where do you want to go to college, Max? U of A. Okay. A lot of you might want to go there. What is their website? I don't know. But I'm just going to type in this mess and... Yeah, U of A. Okay. So when you go to a university's website, if you click on academics, okay, and this is every college has this, okay? Anybody can do it, so feel free to start looking. Okay. So if you go to majors, because that's what it's called when you go to college, you're going to major in something, okay? So if you click on majors, it should give you a list of all of these fun courses, okay, which are called degree programs. So he wanted to do accounting. Look, it's the very first one, Max. You can so do accounting there. So if you click on accounting, what it's going to do is it's going to give you, like, do you see this little overview right here where it says requirements? These are courses you have to take to get that degree, okay? Like, you have to know ifs, ands, or buts about it, okay? So if you click on that, these are just your courses that you have to take, okay? That's not to mention all of the other classes that you have to take just to get a degree, period, okay? So what you want to do, though, is you want to start looking at these And if you scroll down here, do you see where it says first year? These are the courses you have to take, like a Comp 1 class, okay? So you have to take that at college, but most of you, how many of you are taking Comp 1 right now? Okay, or you have taken Comp 1. So, like, if you're taking it or you're not taking it, but you have taken it, then you don't have to do that at college because you've already done it here. So, if you have not taken it, but you're going to college, why not take it in the high school? That way you don't have to sit through it at college, okay? That's why we offer those classes to you. But the main thing you want to look at, besides comp, is your math classes. Because we offer some math classes that will actually not, like you won't have to take them at college, like college algebra. Okay, so Tressie is taking college algebra. Jesus is taking college algebra. Laurel is in it right now. Okay, so they can tell you if it's hard, if you're going to hate it, but either way, you can take it. Okay, it's not hard. Tressie says it's not hard. Jesus, college algebra, hard, not hard. Not hard. Laurel's in it right now. What do you think? It's easy. Okay, so you've got it from 3 people. Okay, now you may say, oh, well, they're mathy. Well, there are other people that have taken it, so just find someone that you think not so mathy and ask them if it's easy. Okay, there's lots of different people, but college algebra is an easy one. Now, the reason you look at this is because, like, if you look at this one says finite math. So college algebra doesn't even help for that because they have to take a finite math. Okay, it's just a finite math is just a broad math. Okay, now if you look at this one, second year, what do they have to take? Survey of calculus. Do you see that word? Calculus. So they have to take calculus. So if you have to take it in college, then why not? And remember, college, it's just a semester. So we're going to use these hands for a semester. In high school, you take the same class called AP Calculus, and you have a whole year to learn the same material. So which one would be easier? High school, learn it in this much, or college, learn it in this much. Okay? So high school, it would be easier. So if you know that you have to take a survey of calculus class, then you should be taking classes to get you there. Okay? Like you need to take trig. How many of you have taken trig? Only Jesus. Okay, how many of you have taken pre-cal or are in pre-cal right now with Mr. Walthour? Okay, so if you know you're going to have to take a calculus class, then I recommend taking pre-cal with Walthour or taking college algebra and then college trig so that you're set up for it. Okay? If you are a junior, so that's some of you, if you know you're going to have to take a calculus when you get to college, I recommend college algebra and college trig. Okay, because you need trig before you ever step foot in a calculus class. Okay, so please put that down in your head. If you have to take calculus anytime in your near future, even if it's 10 years from now, please take a trig class first because it will help you with calculus. If not, you're going to struggle. Okay, if you look at one of these and you're like, ooh, I don't have to take any calculus whatsoever, but I have to take statistics. Well, we offer statistics as well, so you could take statistics at high school. Okay. If you don't need to take pre-cal or calculus of any sort and you don't need to take statistics of any sort, then just take college algebra and you can be done with your math for the rest of your life. That's all you have to do. Okay? But this is important, I think, for you guys to start doing because a lot of times you don't do it until you go to college. And then you're like, oh, man, I have to take that now. And it's usually much harder at college. Okay? Not that you can't do it. College is doable for every single person. But if you can do it in an easier route, then why not take the easy road? Okay? Not that it's not going to be difficult. Everyone who takes calculus will tell you it's difficult in its own way, but it's not too bad. Like, it's not unbearable that you can't do it. Okay? So I recommend just you, as your own time, figure out what you want to do with, and even if it's like 15 things, just look at all 15 things. Like, it doesn't take long. You just click on it, you read a little bit, and you go to the next one. Okay? But that way you get an idea of what you are needing to take. So if you are, because I know you guys are enrolling in classes, right? I think like relatively soon if you haven't already. So one thing you have to know about college courses. So especially college algebra. So if you're going to take college algebra, you have to have a 19 in reading and a 19 in math. Okay? You cannot take college algebra until after Algebra 2. So you have to complete Algebra 2 before you can take college algebra. It's a requirement. Okay? So if you are thinking about what to take and you've taken Algebra 2, then you can do college algebra, and then if you need to take the college trig. If you need statistics, we offer a statistics course which you can take anytime after Algebra 2 as well. Okay, so just something to think about. If you don't need any of that and you want real world math, then you can take what Ms. Collier teaches. Financial math or financial algebra, whatever that is. I think that they do real world stuff. I don't know personally because I've never sat in there, but some of you, are you in Ms. Collier's? Do y'all do real life stuff? Yes? Is it easy-ish? Yes? Okay, so easy class, but it's real life. So if you don't need a math and you just want to take something real life, there's that one. Okay? If you haven't met your scores, but you know you're still going to need a trig class or a calculus, then take pre-cal with Mr. Walthour, because it will get you there too. It's just college trig, but it's a whole year. Okay? That's just my spiel on helping you maybe go in the right direction. Okay? You guys feel free to put your books up, calculators up.
What time do we leave?
4:35.
Can I use the restroom? I think I'm taking it today. No, not this school. I already asked on it. For more. We finished it. I think so. I don't know. Mr. Ward? Oh, are you talking about Mr. Ward? Oh, they're doing a walk on it.
You need to know that I'm late. What did he ask about? He just said, what was it about? But it's like a day off, so it's I'm late. It's just the Confederate submarine. Confederate submarine. That's what I thought. You don't want to know that. Just to keep in mind exactly or you need to know who comes up from the definition for you as very good. Just like say, just say, yes, or you need to know what for the that's cool. I think it really possible for that. Like I had really I just said boys. I was like on the day
information. It's like about finding the documents, like a few documents, yeah, you just sent that by other people, so we could play with it. And then they went on a little car ride, they went on a car ride with the ships. So they went to see some trips. And they talked about what they were going to do after they were and there was like a bunch of friends celebrating and then they went to the Mary Todd, work experience, and then
But no.
Yeah, I took the ACT December, and it's just giving me the wrong answers that I got.
Okay, well, they should. They should mail you a packet. Like you should get a packet in the mail, and it will have your test, and it will have everything. Okay, so you will get that sheet, but you should also get your test. So maybe they don't put the. I bet they don't put the test on there. Just because I don't know that it's something that they release in the internet, but they will send you an email and be sure to
Oh, and then you said we have
shape of borders. They don't do the actual test.
I don't even know if those are.
Yes, and then you can do that.
You never gave me enough.
What else do you need? Like you need to know all the battles, like who got
Well, that's okay, because while you're here, we can hopefully improve it. But if you don't mind,
So I need to know the generals and
because
battles.
what I can do,
Which
some
battle?
take copies and have you guys retake it and see if maybe what you're learning here. Oh, I remember. Because you probably do not remember those questions, like without looking at them. But okay, so but if you want, we can always print out, but it should come in your office as well. So keep like checking the mail and tell your parents, hey, I'm waiting for this to come in the mail. But it should give you everything.
I'll bring it.
Okay.
I thought you knew it was. No, our bonus points where is Minnesota? Can she use that? Yeah, I have her. Next week. Wait, so what are the border states? It just means the green. See, I have these three green. You have to know the border states too, because I have this class and have math and then one is two. So it's Missouri, Kentucky,
Delaware?
Virginia, and Delaware. Maryland. Delaware's out.
Yeah. Delaware, Maryland, Kentucky, Missouri. Do I need to know Kansas? No.
So Missouri, Virginia, Maryland. Just shake this till it comes out a little bit. See, I was about like
Oh, so it's West Virginia, right?
Yeah, that's West Virginia.
Yeah, because that's West Virginia? Okay, so, okay. Yeah, because my aunt lives in Virginia. So I was like, wait,
No,
I thought that was
just go West Virginia.
it's Virginia and West Virginia.
I thought there was only like South Dakota.
So where's Minnesota? Minnesota?
South Dakota.
One of these. But that was our bonus question. I'm pretty sure it's
But that's not like the real one, right?
I think that may be Illinois. That may be Minnesota.
This is like the old one.
How are we going to take four?
Oh, yeah, it's for yeah, for college. Oh, I still
Yeah. Minnesota. Okay.
I still have to take my.
Case of Dutchman, he shot himself.
Oh, okay, that's all.
I know, but I was wondering if you knew.
But is this class only half a semester?
Which one?
I don't think you're there yet, but
You went to it once.
I don't
No,
know.
I don't even have it. I don't even have it exact.
I have like a 97. Oh, that's so isn't it only half a semester? What is considered? Oh.
I was listening to you know that it is for college.
I don't know what that is either. I don't know what's just going on.
Oh, it doesn't have a number, but
You can art too.
I took 2DR and 3DR and I only took R1.
What if I take college? I wonder if I can get it to R1.
Or you can take half a semester.
Aren't you not in class halfway semester? You have to take it.
I've already taken that one. I wanna even see her.
What's the test used for? These are hard to look at it long enough that you get it. It's like so sweet.
I mean, that's what I am not in my classroom. Stay, and I'll be there. Thank you.
I just wanted to
God, I do not. I'm going to trust this class. I love you so much, but I think that's what it's too. Have a good afternoon.
See what's
you know Spanish? Have you known British about that much? Yeah, she gave me a cereal from yesterday.
Oh, 7-3. Magic for 1-3. Yo, you know that feeling when they shove a stroke your nose? I cannot believe I'm not a turtle. I mean, I probably will. No, check me out. You go to chest, dude. Oh, okay, I'll go. Chest, dude? No, why not?
Dude, are you gonna ask her?
I like moving to the water bottle.
Yeah, it comes out of the nightmares. For sure.
You still need a Chromebook?
So he was just in his wrestling room. He was in his wrestling room. And he, this is really strange. No, I think he's running my. Yeah. Well, look at him. And he looks just like my nephew. He was only 7. So like a teenage version of him. Has wrestle. I said, because I'm thinking maybe he's related to him. Like his nephew's mom's side, you know? So he's just kid. She said Matthew, that's what I said. No, my 7-year-old nephew, yeah. That is what we're working on today. 7-3? Yeah, so make sure you have 7-3 and you might want to calculate.
Every time.
You can.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Every time we meet someone, whoever the person we meet would always say that we would like.
Oh, I don't see that.
I don't either.
I mean, if I saw y'all side by side, I'd probably be like, well, y'all are brothers. But y'all don't look that much alike.
I disagree with your sign.
What?
The chocolate fixes everything.
Oh. I don't know, but it comes real close.
Or dogs.
I'm a talkaholic.
I don't think dogs would benefit from it too long.
You don't think dogs would benefit from?
Chocolate too long.
I forgot to stop streaming.
It's been 2 hours.
Okay, so I need to go